Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. So first of all, I wanted to thank everybody for all the recent support lately and all of the new subscribers to the channel. First of all, welcome. And second of all, if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, please consider changing that. And I did also want to add that me and Joe are live every single Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you are not already following the Twitch as well, definitely come over and tune in. You guys have seen some crazy clips happening lately, and there definitely will be more to come. So with that being said, let's get into the rest of the video. Today's video, we're going to be going over boss mules, but more importantly, we're going to be going over how many boss mules you should have at certain stages of the game. So hopefully this video can cover everything from early to end game in terms of how many boss mules you should have and kind of what stat they should be at these certain levels. And hopefully this answers any questions that you guys have while trying to make your own boss mules. So before we get into the video, I do want to just go over kind of what the standard is for a boss mule, and that is going to look like having your full Syria gear done, your Apsos done, about 500 to 1000 nodes per boss mule, all your gear at unique 2-line, and your boss mules being around 10 to 15k stat. So at an early game level, it's going to be extremely hard to actually make any sort of boss mules, but if we have an event like we just had with the Hyperburn or potential Terror Burns, you can definitely think about making a boss mule from a certain event. I don't think it's a good idea to make boss mules at an early game level because it does take a lot away from your main, but like I said, if there is an event that helps fund the boss mule, it's definitely something that you should look into doing. And this one boss mule that you do create from an event at an early game level definitely should only be around 8 to 10k stat, and probably will only have CRA gear because you won't have too many resources or people around you to help fund the boss mule. Potentially look at this being a CRA boss mule or potentially a Lomian struggle boss mule if possible. So now that we're out of an early game level, we can now start looking at more of a mid game level, and what I mean by mid game is being somewhere around level 250. Your main's gear is at 17 star all. The nodes on your main are at least 15. You have a Lucid and Will party that you can help contribute to, and most of your gear is around unique 2-line, and you're sitting somewhere around 20 to 30k stat. Now at this point of the game, you actually do want to start looking into making boss mules because it's not taking too much away from your main, and in fact it is helping progress your main. So at this point you want to try to look to create somewhere between 3 to 8 Lomian boss mules, and these boss mules are probably all going to have CRA, Apsos, and trying to aim somewhere between 10 to 15k stat. I do want to make a quick note that these boss mules are probably going to take somewhere between 500 to 1000 nodes each, so make sure that you do take this into account when making these boss mules. They are going to take away from your main at the given time of making them, but they will help it long term. Make sure that your main is still able to contribute to boss parties before putting in a lot of resources into these boss mules. Once you're out of that mid game level and you're crossing into the late game level, and what I mean by late game level is somewhere around level 260 to 275, your main's gear is at least 21 stars, your nodes are all maxed on your main, and you have a full C10 party and potentially starting to run Black Mage. At this point in the game, you should really be trying to focus on creating as many boss mules as possible. This is going to be where most of the money on your account comes from, so you really want to make sure that you start to work towards getting that 10 to 12 Lomian boss mules on your account. When you can get to this point in the game, this is where you're really going to be starting to make anywhere from like 10 to 17 bill. At this point, you definitely want to make sure that all your Lomian boss mules have CRA, full Apsos, 16 to 17 star, and they're all about 12 to 15k stat. At this point in the game, you really want to make sure that your boss mules are doing, or all bosses up to Lomian in sub 30 minutes, because it does become a lot of boss runs on these boss mules, so you want to make sure that they're as quick and efficient as possible. Otherwise it gets extremely monotonous and annoying to do this consistently every week if they are struggle runs. So if you've passed this late game block on your account and you've created anywhere from 10 to 12 Lomian boss mules, you're probably now at an end game level. And what I mean by end game level is you're anywhere from level 275 and upward. Your main's gear is completely done. You're soloing all of C10, and you're sitting anywhere from 55 to 60k stat. At this point in the game, boss mules are pretty much already completely done, and you can potentially think of making C10 mules if you want to. I do want to note that this is pretty inefficient for overall money coming in. It does take about 200 bill to 250 bill cost per C10 mule, depending on what kind of mule it is. It definitely is not cheap by any means. So the reason why I say it's inefficient is because you spend so much money up front, it takes you so long to actually make the money back. So this is something that, you know, if you want to do it, you can definitely do it. It's definitely not a necessity. I don't recommend it unless you just want to go and play another class. But that is pretty much going to wrap it up for the video today. I wanted to solely focus on how many boss mules you should aim to have at certain points in the game. And I do want to make a note that this is just my recommendation for people who are starting off in the game, or they're already progressing in the game, or they're at a late game level. None of this is a complete necessity, but this is definitely something that I wish that I would have done earlier starting off, because it is a lot of money that you make every single week, and it is a short amount of time that you actually spend on these boss mules, so it makes progression extremely easy. But if you guys do have any other questions for the video, please let me know in the comment section below. But with that being said, that is going to wrap up the rest of the video. I hope you all did enjoy, and until next time, I will see you guys later.